Hello and welcome to my first proper video. As of recording, it is 11 days to the general election here in the UK. Right from the off, this is going to be my opinion on the main political parties that featured in the ITV television debate. I have included all the manifestos down in the description. I have not included Plaid Cymru, the Welsh political party, because one, it took long enough just to go through all the other parties, and actually in terms of how they will affect the overall outcome of any coalition that may occur is debatably negligible. So I have decided, because this is going to be a long enough video as it is, to not include them. But I have included their manifesto down below in the interest of fairness. I haven't included anything about Northern Ireland either, but that is because Northern Ireland is very insular in comparison to the rest of the UK. Before I get started, I want to briefly cover left-wing and right-wing politics. This is a big irk for me, as a lot of people have been labelling certain parties in recent years as far right, when in fact their policies have actually been fairly central. So the misconception comes from economic and social policies. Now, the political compass, which I am linking below, gives a very good explanation for how these are separate, and this is what I am basing my views on. The Green Party. On the whole, I am a supporter of the Green Party, I agree with a lot of their policies. Being left-wing myself, I do identify strongly with a lot of what they are trying to put through. Britain is a right-wing country, through and through, capitalistic, it's inherently right-wing nuclear power. Now, I have studied this and actually couldn't disagree more with them about this as a short to mid-term solution. One of the main things that I picked out from the manifesto is how dangerous nuclear power can be, Fukushima, Chernobyl being examples. So yes, it can be dangerous. However, the likelihood of a Fukushima or a Chernobyl occurring here in the UK with all of the modern safety precautions that are put in place is very low. Even if such an overload were to occur, the chances of that getting out of control is very, very small. That's not to say that it couldn't happen. The Bill of Rights. Really? Bill of Rights here in the UK? We have a unwritten constitution that works perfectly fine, and that unwritten constitution gives us more or less exactly the same rights that are enshrined in America, and we don't have all the complications of things like the Second Amendment with the right to bear arms. We don't have any of the issues which are brought up by that, so why change that? Overall, I think under Labour, the Green Party could actually make a significant difference in moving our country forward in a way that would be positive for everyone, and it would bring about the right change in the right way. The Scottish National Party. The SNP seem to have more of a grip on reality than the Green Party, but some of their policies do still seem to be rather unrealistic. Scrapping Trident. For those of you who don't know, Trident is the UK's nuclear weapons program. I agree that scrapping Trident is probably a good idea. However, I am skeptical of how sensible it is with the rogue states that are about, that have potential nuclear capabilities that could go against us if we disarmed. Having said that, I do think that disarming would set an example to other states and would lead the way in creating a more peaceful world. As far as the European Union is concerned, we do need to renegotiate the deal here in the UK, as it's not working for us at all at the moment. However, I do believe firmly that we're better off in the EU than out of it. I firmly agree with the double majority rule, which Scotland and Wales in particular are backing should a in-out referendum occur, which would basically stop England from pulling the other three principalities out of the Union against their will. On independence, I have changed my stance since the independence referendum last year. So last year my stance was very much, in principle I agree, but now is not the time. Whereas now I find myself leaning more against independence. However, I do support full devolution of powers in the UK to Scotland, because that would provide the best financial security for Scotland whilst keeping all the benefits of being a part of the United Kingdom. The Liberal Democrats. The Lib Dems really surprised me. They have a very nice and concise summary manifesto which resonated a lot with me. My issue is that I have absolutely no faith whatsoever that they will deliver. One of their policies was stop homophobic bullying. I'm sorry, but what? What? Get rid of homophobic. Just scrap that word altogether. Move it. Stop all bullying. Bullying at all, on any level, is completely wrong, no matter what it is you're suffering for, whether it's for your faith, for your colour of skin, for your sexuality, or whatever. It doesn't matter. Just stop all bullying. Full stop. This isn't about homosexuality, and it shouldn't be about homosexuality or any other specific type of bullying. We should be aiming to cut out bullying altogether, not just willy-nilly picking whatever type of bullying we want to. It's about bullying altogether. So I do like their idea of a donation cap, which would level the playing field for the smaller parties in a massive way. But that would need to be either an annual cap or a cap that is not only on the size of any single donation, but how much can be donated annually. The Lib Dems have a digital bill of rights. I think that's a great idea. It enshrines everything that the internet stands for. You have to get all the major states to agree to this and to enforce it, otherwise it just would not be enforceable. Outside the UK we would have no remit over it. So it's a good idea, but practically can it be implemented? I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. UK Independence Party. Okay, so I was actually pleasantly surprised by UKIP's summary manifesto. It was well laid out and concise. They do actually have a pretty reasonable economic policy. It's just a shame that pretty much the entire rest of their policy leaves a bad taste in that. On immigration, UKIP are wildly, unrealistically bordering on racist. They are being hypocritical and economically damaging in the extreme. I'm not denying that immigration is a concern. However, it's a concern as part of a much wider issue of a sustainable population. The overall population is made up of two separate factors: difference in births and deaths and net migration. There is a limited space and limited amount of resources to be able to fairly sustain the UK population. It shouldn't matter where you come from. If you put into our tax system, if you are helping to build our economy, it shouldn't matter what colour your skin is, where you come from. If you are earning a wage in this country and paying your taxes and living legally in this country, you should be welcome here no matter who you are. I love the Save the Pubs campaign. It's brilliant. There is a place for Wetherspoons and other such conglomerates. However, it is those local pubs which, just like any other small local business, forms the backbone of our economy and is essential to British life. Labour. The summary manifesto for the Labour Party wasn't so much a summary as a detailed highlights that was excessively long. However, I did like the fact that it was actually customizable to a degree. I found the manifesto surprisingly balanced and unexpected from a Westminster party. However, there does seem to be heavy spending, which is a bit of a concern. However, between the SNP and other minority parties, I do think that sensible compromises will be made on those issues. The NHS, I'm sorry, but some of their policies are just absolutely ridiculous. Where are all the doctors, nurses, midwives, and home care workers they're promising going to come from? The issue here is not so much a lack of funding, a lack of an ability to pay for these people. It is a lack of qualified doctors, nurses, and other health professionals. So it doesn't matter how much money you put in, you're still not going to have the qualified professionals required to take those roles on. So I don't know what else I can say on that. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And finally, the Conservatives. There was no official summary manifesto, which I was not impressed with in the slightest. All the other parties, other than possibly Labour, gave some sort of summary manifesto summarising the key points, and even Labour to a degree did this. So in this day and age, not on, just not acceptable at all. I know I covered the NHS with Labour, however, Labour wanted to bring in a lot of doctors, admittedly GPs, which I failed to cover in my Labour video, so I'm just popping that in here now, just to clarify on that. The Tories also want to do the same thing. They're almost as ridiculous with doctors, however, they do not specify GPs, which isn't quite as ridiculous in my opinion, but it's still unrealistic, and they still want to introduce more nurses than I think is realistic. I just cannot see where these fully trained professionals are going to be coming from. One of the policies that did stick out to me was their devolved parliament for England. Now, since all three other principalities have devolved parliaments, it just makes sense to me that England has a devolved parliament of its own. I'm sorry for the lateness of this video. I didn't expect it to take so long to edit it all together. As always, thank you for watching my video. Please feel free to give your own thoughts and opinions on the issues I touched on down in the comment section. If you liked this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel to be updated when I upload new material.